Hi, I'm the Tale Weaver Omar, and DM here at A Tale of D20's Network.
Hi, I'm Zektown, and I am the DM here at A Tale of D20's Network.
Zek, you know I am the Dungeon Master for the drama-fueled, anime-inspired fantasy epic Descent into the Void, right?
Yes, but Omar, you know I am the Dungeon Master for the comedy-riddled, trope-smashing fantasy epic The Natural Ones.
I guess both of them are perfect shows for a tabletop podcasting network.
It's a good thing that people can find us at ataleofd20s.com then.
Yeah, you can also find us on Twitter at A Tale of D20s. That's at ATALEOFD20S, A Tale of D20s.
And you can find each show on Twitter at The Nat Ones Cast, at THENAT1SCAST, The Nat Ones Cast, or Descent Void at DESCENTVOID, Descent Void on Twitter.
So, if you want thrilling drama
or a side-splitting comedy, A Tale of D20s has you covered.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to yet another exciting edition of Shoulda, Hada D8, where we invite friends, family, fans, and cast members to discuss the previous episodes of The Natural Ones and Descent into the Void. With me today, we have the cast of Descent into the Void, so please give a warm welcome to Zeki, who plays Cal, Alex, who plays Manako,
Hi!
Travis, who plays King,
Oh my god, it's Travi.
and Adam, who plays Duran.
The girl.
Lewis, who plays Horatio, is listening in but is unable to speak at the moment, so he will just be listening in. But without further ado, let's recap a little bit what happened between the last couple episodes of Descent into the Void, as this is a two-parter. We missed 1 week, so we're going to cover them both here and now. So as a really quick recap to remind everyone, you all had just finished defeating Deja Vu and came back. Cal had already expressed his experience traveling throughout the void in the ley lines carving and seeing the other worlds that he had shown. And King once again had his scar ripped open and began leaking out the light. And Duran, unfortunately, seems to be in a daze, not moving, barely even breathing. Calling the allies back, Horatio and Manako. Manako had casted Heal on Duran, bringing him back to somewhat operational form, where he was able to communicate and talk and express normal feelings, other than the feeling of his attachments to the group. He was distant, no longer feeling the love for King or any of his allies, which seemed to have put everyone on edge and apart. King especially showing all types of emotion, trying to keep it in. And as the story progressed and we went on, you guys had teleported to King Terminus, had discussed the plans to take on this this lich that was sending the undead, as well as free Fia from its capture by Hiei and the Dark Forces. And then you all had made your way back to King Terminus's castle. They're meeting with one of his captains, Julian, the Mage Slayer. You had then discussed plans with him, finding out Judean Sunfell once again was alive and well and had teleported in there, and flabbergasted after you admitted all the stories of past, present, and future that you went through. And then afterwards, you had left that place, Cal getting a magical weapon in forms of a healing shotgun, it seemed, and Manako received a vision. And then it was that point you went and teleported towards the Corpus Arcana, trying to search for something that Manako was looking for but was not found, and you all just decided to go back to the manor, everyone going their own separate ways, Duran being very distant and separate, asking questions to Deja Vu, until finally going back towards the manor, where King had seemed to go through some type of mental breakdown, his memories fusing with that of Miliki. In reaction, Monako had casted a spell of infernal calling onto him, seeming to seal up the wound inside of his chest. Meanwhile, Cal had went off onto his own and met with the heirs of Equipoise and found out that Uluthar was losing control over the knights as the Captain Coldhammer had been gravely injured. With everything now shifting to this new dwarven character that seemed to have just popped up out of nowhere. He had swore vengeance and wrath upon the undead that are within here, specifically Drusilla and the rest of the vampires, and caused chaos and tried to have everyone shift over from Kelemvor to worshipping Hades. So with all that and Cal giving some uplifting words to Uluthar, finding out that he is a paladin of glory, Cal headed back and then had a discussion about King fearing for his life, writing a manifesto asking Cal to unlock him if need be to stop the forces of evil. And at that night, King rested and was visited by the Burning Hand. So that pretty much wraps up what happened in the last 2 episodes. So we'll just rewind it back, starting off with New Duran thoughts. First person goes to King. So, Travis, what is going through King after finding out this New Duran?
Thanks, I hate it. That's what King feels. He's like, what happened? He's like, this is not the man I know and love. This is a shell of a person, and he's like, I like hate every moment of this. And he, in the beginning, felt despair and then had like a moment of hope and then felt despair again. And he's oscillating right now between like, I can do it. He's lost. I can fix him. We're gone. We can't make it. Like, so that's where he's at.
Oof. So then, with that, following up, same question to Adam. How Duran is now, as you all discovered, his mind has been split into 5 different pieces scattered throughout the multiverse, the multiplane. And so now we have this new Duran with all the memories, but just none of the feelings. How is Duran now different? Obviously he is, but then to the Duran of old.
Well, it's kind of like Duran has always kind of been a character who seems like very standoffish and really like kind of almost antagonistic to people he's just met, and then he warms up to them after a while, and he's normally really chill after that. But if he never gets past that warm-up phase, he can be a real handful. And Duran right now feels like he can't really, like, he doesn't feel close to anyone and trust anyone, and everything seems so different, but he also feels very alone.
Really? And like, what I love is that Duran's like a Valkyrie again. Like, he was definitely un-Valkyrie-like in his terms, and now it seems like he's gone back to his Valkyrie ways, which is very exciting to hear. So it's kind of like we're getting the backstory of Duran in the present.
But the difference is now he's got like this gnawing loneliness that he's distracting himself from by being gung-ho.
I can't wait to see how that plays out. It is sad indeed. And then we also saw Duran get a little mouthy with both Horatio and Cal. So my next question goes to Zeki. So after like feeling that camaraderie between the 2 fighters of the group, and now getting that kind of what was it? Someone that Duran said to him, to Cal, something about watch how you use your magic or something like that. I don't know.
He said, this is not a direct quote, but use your power with more care, or something along the lines of that.
I thought that was directed at King.
The direct
was directed at
quote.
King.
Oh no, that was to King. Yeah, sorry, I have a note there that says to King. Sorry, my mistake. The note above that I have, some wise wizard you are, and that was directed. That is a direct
wizard
quote.
you are. Yeah, that was pretty
Some
savage.
wise wizard you are. Yeah, and that was directed towards Horatio. So that I definitely have. I guess I don't have what Cal
He didn't trust Cal initially about not having any more fruit.
Oh,
something
yeah.
about
He
the
was
fruit,
like,
yeah.
He's like, you sure you don't have any? I'm like, yeah, dude, I gave them all away. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, again, snippy with Cal. Yeah. So with that reminder, what how does Cal take that, or how was he feeling in that moment?
Oh my goodness. Cal does not know what to do with Duran, like, at all. He's like, because he's there, and he's physically there, and he's behaving. He's not like a zombie or something like that, but there's definitely just... He also can feel sort of like a lack of compassion that has been kind of ripped from him. Or that's what at least it seems like that's been ripped from him a little bit. And now it's like just like the cold, calculating warrior that's left. Like the core components that make Duran such a like worthy like opponent in terms of it being like a companion and like as like a fighter. And I think that Cal definitely would like be registering that, but then also just from knowing who Duran was, how different of a person it's also making him.
Right. And you all know that Horatio was able to surmise he's been broken to 5 pieces, and one of them's in Fia. So this is just a general group question. With Duran treating the group as he is now, is that more of like an incentive to go get this piece? Or is it more of like a I don't know, like do you feel slighted because like Duran is being disrespectful, but not because he's for the sake of disrespect. He just doesn't feel the same way he used to feel about any of you.
We have to fix him.
Like, we still have our memories. Like, we still know who he is and how he was. So, like, even though he doesn't remember right now, like, we do, and, like, he might not be our friend, but we're still his. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that might be, like, something that ends up happening. Like, it might be something where, in order for him to reconnect with that part of his memory, maybe there's, like, an aspect of something that he shared with, like, each one of us, and maybe more with King, that we have to, like, figure out to kind of, like, reactivate it into him and, like overlap the bond a little bit.
Interesting.
You mean the power of friendship?
I mean, nothing beats the power of friendship.
Of course. And this is an anime-centric podcast, so you know we love the power of friendship.
Of course.
As it
Duran,
trumps
don't you
all.
remember? Horse meat.
I can't wait for that to be
Oh my god, that's gonna be great.
Oh my goodness, yes. But moving on, then of course you guys went on, talked to King Terminus, and then came back and went through a ton of emotions, but in the end just let everything loose. Found out exactly the plans, which were he laid out. His plans were to either to defeat this lich that was summoning the undead, so the army can continue, while also small team of an infiltration squad will come in place of these rainbow technicolor orbs into select spots in Fia, which will hopefully opening up his defenses, as of course you know they're definitely going to be heavily defended at this point with Hiei at the helm. Thoughts on the plan? Because it seems like the Liberators want to take out the Lich, was what you finally came to. So this question will go to anyone, so anyone can answer. What are your thoughts on the plan to take out the Lich?
We gotta do it. It's gotta get done. Lich has gotta go. Not good.
I agree with that, but I also feel like we're overestimating ourselves slightly.
You think it's gonna be really bad?
I don't think it's going to be really bad, but I feel as if
We're not
there's
at
gonna
full
be-
power.
No, we rested.
That's not what I mean. Like, emotionally,
Yeah.
we're not the same
Well,
people
I
we
mean-
were. Like, we don't have the same bonds and connections, so, like, that's gonna affect how
He
we
means
do.
he doesn't have the Stell's Bond special ability. He's specifically saying the special ability.
Yeah, also King probably won't dance with Minako, and she usually turns a fight around, and he just won't do it now, probably.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The power of friendship has saved you many, many times, and now the power of friendship is gone. What will the Liberators do?
Well, I would not say gone. I really
Okay.
wouldn't say gone. I would
It's-
say it is being
Shattered.
reforged.
We still have
Oh,
some
yeah.
time before the
Sorry.
Lich fight. We can form quick bonds.
I would say that the
can
candle
form.
of friendship's light flickers in the draft of adversity, but will soon build into a raging inferno.
That's
We're
so poetic.
reforging it.
I hope that's what happens.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yes, it's all being reforged. It's fine. Everything is fine.
And it'll become stronger than ever.
Is it though?
Yeah.
But you can still it's like a friendship is like a broken mirror. You can put it back together, but you still see the cracks in that motherfucker. Or not, or it'll just be forged and it'll be something new and beautiful. I believe in the liberators. I'll say that. So, but moving on, Cal. Next question goes to you as we saw you and go against Julian's wishes of not touching anything. You touched this shotgun that was hanging on the wall, received that vision, and found out that you can shoot healing bullets, or healing bullets were shot out of this by King Terminus, to which King Terminus explained that it harnesses the energy of the caster, and him being a healer, a divine healer, he was able to shoot healing bullets out, but he gave it to you in the end. No questions asked.
He did, and that is extremely exciting. As soon as it was pointed out, because I think I rolled a very poor investigation check or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I don't really see anything. And then, like, oh, there it is. There's that thing that looks exactly like my other stuff. I have to touch this now. This is... And I think at the time I also thought that it might power up my lack of divine senses. Like, I thought it might, like, jumpstart the effects of the throne. I was like, well, maybe this will be a thing, but no, it didn't happen like that, which is fine.
A good night's rest probably will fix that up.
Yeah, so. But I'm excited to see how the magic that I harness, number one, if it's been changed from sitting on the throne, how that change will be manifested through the use of this shotgun, and how different it would have been from pre-stepping on the throne shotgun blasts, if it kind of matches up with the user.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. Obviously, you have now sat on it, so whatever will happen now, you'll never know what would happen if you hadn't had done so.
It's true. Now I'm interested in how it's going to be different, and if my other guns are different now at all. I'll have to check that.
Definitely. And then, moving on, after you all had finally discovered the fate of Judean Sunfell, he had teleported in there and alerted you that he had no recollection of what happened and had a brain explosion when you let him know that he was in Eustacia. You went to the past, present, future, goddess,
He
and
didn't
somebody.
teleport in. What's his name? King. What's his name? Brought him in.
Well, he teleported into the into the castle, into the teleportation chamber, and then he had brought him from there.
He wasn't where I left him.
He wasn't where he had left. He had teleported back from Eustacia. The will of the gods, we'll call it. Who knows? But he went into the teleportation room and then was brought in by King Terminus. And then, of course, you mind-fucked him with just all this information that after putting him in his place, you fell down. How good did that feel? Anybody?
Oh, man. Felt amazing. It's like, this is your fault. Like, all of this
that was
is your
quite
fault.
nice.
That was pretty
That
awesome.
was quite.
Yeah, even King Terminus was like, oh, took your side and stepped on over to the other side of the thing. Well, they've been friends forever.
We put it into some real perspective. I mean, it was not okay what he did.
But he did, King Terminus did vouch for him and said, you have to just forgive him. He's just like that. But it doesn't sound like you guys are.
I mean, we'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah.
He's not all bad.
Yeah, like, he was trying to do the right thing when it was most important with Doramo and everything. So it wasn't like he was under no self-control as he was pulling the shard out and everything else. So it's like he didn't want to do what he was doing. So that showed his true colors.
Right. And I built Judean to be Nah, I don't think this is really meta. But I built Judain to be like the Snape to King Terminus's Dumbledore kind of thing relationship, but then not like they're exactly like that. That's how their relationship is. They're completely opposite from those characters, but then the way their relationship works kind of gives off that vibe. That's the kind of the inspiration for that. But of course, Dumbledore is more like not soft-spoken, but he's has like poise and all that, where King Terminus is loud and boisterous and plays practical jokes on people. But nevertheless, after chatting with them and agreeing to join Julian and his captains, getting some horses along the way, King not wanting to use his precious unicorns apparently, you decided to team up with the Mage Slayer, and he went off and said that he would go ahead and get ready the next day, or to tell him when he's ready, but he'd be ready within the day, the next day, as it was quite late. So you all went back to rest in your homes. Of course, after a pretty awkward Duran leaving scene and flying down, brushing off everyone else until you finally made it back to the manor. Good to be home again after so much time. But that is where we saw the most drama of the episode, the next episode now, which was last week's episode, we'll start off with Cal going off onto his own and discovering what's happening with the heirs of Equipoise. So, thoughts on everything with Ulathar, this mysterious dwarven champion of what seems to be Hades, and the medical situation that Coldhammer is in. Zeki.
It definitely feels like one of those moments where you're on your way to somewhere very important and you cut through the grass and now there is dog crap all over the bottom of your shoe and now you have to deal with it. And I feel like opening that box is me now having to deal with it, and this is one of those things. Now there's subversion of what was once a united front with these paladins and clerics and knights, and I don't know what's gonna happen there, but I think it's gonna come back to bite me in the butt majorly.
And Ulathar basically offered you the new leadership, being the mortal key, the object of Kalimdor of true balance, but you turned it down. Were you, as a player, tempted in taking on this mantle?
I think it would be very cool to have taken the leadership role of it, but I also, as a player, was thinking of how my character could justify not being there to lead them and be a presence and just selfishly continue to adventure on. So I wanted Ulathar to kind of take the reins and I have a different path to take, but I have your I will support you kind of thing.
Okay.
It's not exactly that I didn't want to be a knight, but it was just I don't want to be in the DEA if I can just be in the CIA,
How worried is Cal about Hades, as has been brought up that Hades is the way? I'm going to shift everybody from being Kalimdor to Hades.
It is very nerve-wracking, and I'm becoming more nervous for the moment where if Kalimdor is out there, I have to confront that and kind of be hey, kind of am acting as your champion right now and did a bad thing, but it was for the good things, so we'll see what happens. I'm really nervous about it. I don't know.
Yeah, especially after that time you had with your deity while everyone else is in the void.
Yes, especially because all that other stuff happened after that. So that is that makes it way worse. I have that on my conscience.
Stuff we still don't know.
Yeah.
Secrets. We got some secrets.
Secret. Cal's got a secret.
But the listeners know, and I'm sure the listeners are very excited to hear what's going to happen next with that, as I am when this all gets out. But speaking of secrets or things unfurling, we then shift back to King and Monaco, Duran, and Horatio inside of the manor. King couldn't exited him. He excused himself and went to the patio and began channeling energy, just subconsciously forming this tree-like kind of cocoon around him, to which Monaco came towards his aid, hearing whispers from her patron, and in doing so acted upon it. And we had a kind of like a strange dichotomy of the infernal magic and the celestial magic between the two, as King pushed his thoughts onto Monaco. Monaco kind of pushed the energy of the infernal onto King. So my question will be, we'll start off with Monaco. So Alex, describe the Monaco's mental state and what she was going through during that scene, without giving any spoilers away, of course.
Oh goodness. I mean, when it comes push to it, when the burning hand pushes her, she always asks how high. But then afterwards, she was just a total mess about having done, which is pretty typical for how that kind of plays out, I think.
All right, and then like interesting choice with the spell there. What, as a player, what inspired you to use the infernal calling? And like, just like, it was very spontaneous, you were quick with it, so and then of course as a DM I was flowing with it, which was really good. But just as a curiosity, what was the inspiration for that?
I mean, so he was like, he's vulnerable, and I thought, what vulnerable to what? What exactly? And I realized, oh, he's vulnerable to that. Let's see if it'll go. I threw the idea out there, and I think
the Hail Mary.
Yeah, it was a Hail Mary pass. Like I thought that it was like a contextually like relevant sort of situational spell. That was just sitting in her back pocket from back then. And really one of those like creative uses that only applies because there's so many factors that kind of going around it, I guess. All
right, and then we also saw, and on the opposite end, we have King, who was going through this strange mental state of in and out, Eustacia, back home on the Broken Lands, back to Eustacia, and so on and so forth, before pushing his thoughts onto Monaco, and then a push of infernal and celestial energy going back and forth until the spell took place, and there's that feeling of infernal energy, but that got blocked by what seems to be the inner celestial magic that's in there, sealing off the wounds, thereby not releasing any more of this celestial energy, but also force now resonating in him. So my next question will go to Travis. So what was going through King's mind? Talk us through King's mental state throughout this process.
Well, like, as you and I described, like, he was in Mylaki's mind and reminiscing and going through some of her memories and also some of my own, like almost simultaneously, and like jittering in a jittering state of mind. So it was like messing him up, and he couldn't really like think, and he was just sort of like, I think it was also, we haven't properly rested. We were in so many battles. He was using so many spells. We were ripped through space-time, and I feel like the adrenaline of the battle and like talking to like the leaders and planning it like was sort of like keeping him together. So then when he had like a moment to breathe, like everything sort of unravels. You know what I mean? Like after you work out, sometimes you're extra tired after you finally like sit down. And I feel like that's sort of like what was happening. I didn't think that I was gonna like explode, but I thought that like, I just thought it would be a cool RP moment to like, because you keep saying like how much pain I'm in and how the light is pouring out. So I feel like that was like a good moment to like, do that. And then when Monaco came out, I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then you described it after she cast her spell. I had like instant clarity of mind. Like the pain was still there, but it was lesser. And I immediately, like, my thoughts were clear.
Right.
So I was like, what the F just happened? Like, how could she have done that? Like, what could she have done? And as you just described, I felt the dark magic and the push. So now, like literally I was pouring out like white light, and now it's red light because of the ruby that is been melted in my chest wound. So I'm like, I felt the dark energy, I have that, like, I just, like, he's like thankful that he's alive, but he's like, at what cost right now is sort of what he thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just sort of like, oh my god, like, what's happening? Like if this was possible and safely to be done, why wasn't it offered sooner or like talked about? Like, why was it like in a moment of panic it was used? Like, I don't know, like, it just, like, he's just sort of just like I don't know like how to describe it. Like, he's sort of like going haywire. Like, he's just like fizzling out, like, with all of these, there's so many different like loose ends and different ideas and strings that he's just like, and then also from warbling back and forth, he's just like sort of whatever. And then when it finally stopped and Minako was there, he was like, and just like grabbed her and started to cry into her, and like, you know, was like, just, I don't know, just like that.
Definitely. Yeah, it was, and then for at least seems that you are of clear mind and you're no longer in that pain, at least. But of course we saw repercussions came from that, and after you guys had your dinner and Cal had snuck back in there, which I will jump to that scene between Cal and Duran. So my next question will first go to Adam with Duran. Duran was quite perceptive, of course, as he is, and saw the boots of Cal go into the window and then decided to kind of awkwardly check in on it. And I'm just picturing this awkward scene of him just like climbing the window, pulling his head up over the balcony and just like, you okay? And then basically comes back and then leaves. But it was quite interesting. But that showed us more of like a distance between Cal and Duran, or Duran from everybody. So talk us through that, Adam, if you can.
Normally, like, if Duran was normal, he would probably respect Cal's privacy, or just be like, I don't know what's going on, but that's probably none of my business. I'll let Cal handle it. I trust him to take care of his business, or if it was something dangerous, he would tell me. But he saw something strange. He doesn't trust anyone right now, and he followed up.
Okay. And then, like, I don't know what. So, Cal, for Zeki, your question. Now, seeing Duran, was Cal kind of like, well, you don't trust me, or like, what's going on, or just thought nothing of it?
Cal is like, sorry. Cal is approaching it like he knows that there is something off with Duran, and he has a rough idea of how it needs, like, what needs to happen for it to be fixed. So he isn't treating Duran like he can't be trusted. And I think that's why he was like, when Duran asked him, he was like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I had left and now I came back. Like, you're right. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you because that would just make things way, way worse, and I don't feel like I need to lie to you. So I feel like if there is any kind of like rebuilding of trust that needs to happen, Cal's trying to do his best to just still be completely honest as he had been. But he's also kind of treating Duran differently because he knows that he is like off and that something's like kind of like missing. So he's trying to like treat him as he would like has always treated him, but he's also, I don't know, walking a little bit on eggshells to like kind of make sure he doesn't make Duran think he's doing something shady. Like, all of his cards are on the table for that.
Right. All right. And then, of course, after that, you had received a secret message from King, who had asked you to speak to you. So going down to one of the halls, not all the way to the end where the photo of Erebus is, but still close to the side of was in a different room than Duran, you found King, who had proclaimed that he wanted you to unlock him with your powers to release Myliki if need be, if it was him falling into some type of darkness or falling into some type of infernal realm. Not sure exactly what happened, but weary nonetheless, to just release the Myliki in him and hope to gods that whatever would happen would work, would be safe. And of course, it didn't seem like Hal was so readily to do such thing, but maybe as a last resort. So my question is for both Zeki and Travis. During the manifesto scene, what was going through both of your characters' minds? Let's start off with Travis, with King, who proclaimed this.
Well, after he had his thoughts back together and had his moment of clarity and sort of thought things through, he was like, I can't trust these people anymore. I need to think of my future and my people. So I'm going to do what I think needs to be done and write down the lessons that I've learned, because we've gone and traveled a lot in the time we've been together. And I feel that knowledge can be digested and written down in a form for a future generation to have. So he's basically expecting to have to die in the near future. So he's preparing for that to happen. Like a martyr would, I guess. And then when Cal came back, he was like, I don't think that I'm all right anymore. Look at me. And I showed him my chest. I said I felt the negative energy and I was able to repel it, but it's still obviously here. And then I recalled about how we've seen a few shady things and I'm suspicious. I feel like now my life is under threat, or my divinity is being potentially blocked or usurped. So I was the mortal key, another divine, or another vessel of the gods, so to speak. If anyone could relate, he could. And he's also the mortal key, so if I'm fucking sealed with infernal energy, unlock that bitch and let me be free. You know what I mean? let me celestial supernova, and I'd rather that happen than let a devil take my body.
Okay. And then Cal, thoughts on hearing this proclamation from or this declaration from King to sacrifice himself for that, and you being the key to unlocking his destiny. What was your thoughts on that, or Cal's thoughts on that?
So I think Cal has been that caregiver role for his friends growing up, and I think that a lot of how he is reacting to King in this situation is just an extension of that, where he's okay, you're writing this declaration thing, you think you're not gonna survive the next night,
a constitution, which was great.
I get it, but the sun's gonna come up tomorrow, everything is gonna be we're gonna make it through, we're gonna persevere. And I think that Cal's had to be there for people in that capacity before, and he was just kind of doing the same thing. It was just really awkward that Durand then saw it too.
Man, if only Minako could just tell King what she was planning. This would all be so much easier.
But then it's just secrets. This season is just secrets upon secrets.
Secrets upon secrets, yeah.
This is what it is. But then I predict near future that secrets will all come out, and then we'll finally get to just address all the elephants that are in the room that no one can see. Where certain people, like Horatio, has seen some of the elephants, while others have seen the others. We will finally all get to see them floating in the sky, and then, well, I am quite excited to see the resolution to that. But then, of course, we had wrapped up the episode with King falling asleep, shifting into his mindscape, and instead of it being that kind of foresty area that he met Maliki before, or at least complete darkness, it was looked like a scene out of the Nine Hells, with standing on top of a mountain was the familiar visage. Well, it's not to King, but as we all know, the suit and tie and bat wings visage of the Burning Hand, who had words to speak with King as these two kind of this devil and this quote-unquote celestial being are now staring each other eye to eye. We had ended the episode there. So, for everyone, predictions on what's to come next, or at least with this conversation between King and the devil. Two very charismatic characters.
Don't do what he says. Don't trust him.
No, I'm obviously not gonna trust him. So I will say, I did mention it during the session, but I'll repeat it here. I did mention that I specifically pulled out the Tome of Leadership and Influence. That was what bumped me to my 22 charisma. And I was reading that as I was writing my manifesto and reflecting on, like, you know, tactics and lore and speech of leaders and influential things. So I feel like King is, like, primed to negotiate and, like, be, like, cutting and savage, like, with the tongue.
Isn't he exhausted, though? Like, not, like, literally exhausted, but, like...
Yeah? Well, no, not now anymore, because of the crystal in his heart.
Yeah,
crystal
alright.
in his chest.
Well, there we go.
So, we'll see.
We'll probably learn more about
that's
what
sort
it
of
is.
That's sort of how I'm gonna play it.
I hope it.
I expect some sort of, do this for me, and I'll do this for you. Like, 100%.
I mean...
And it's like, let's see what kind of deal we can make.
Devils make deals. That's how the Infernal work.
Right?
Oh. Any other predictions on what's to come next?
Oh man.
The Lich is gonna be super bad.
I predict that we're gonna have some fun times with the Lich, and then be exhausted and have to go straight into a fight with Hiei. With no long rest in between. Because he's just gonna pop up. He's actually gonna be there. He's coordinating things with the Lich, and we're gonna have to fight both a Lich and Hiei at the same time or something crazy.
Oh my god, you think I'll be that mean?
And all the Dark Cap.
And all the Dark Captains. Ooh.
Yeah.
Don't forget about them. They still exist. I'm not
Oh,
gonna
and Doramo just happened to still be here, so...
No, that's the one person I'm sure he's left. He's gone.
For all he
I
knows...
I feel that way.
I don't know where he's gone to. That's the problem.
Well, he could be anywhere, because he's just like, I got what I needed out of this place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said there was one more shard. He has one, and then you guys took the other one and to who knows where, and he just like, well, fuck this place, and shifted out with Duran's warband.
We still have to stop Hiei.
So, and he's on his way to becoming Tartarus, according to Deja Vu. That's one thing you did. One thing we did not mention, I'll quickly go into now. You did ask Deja Vu Doramo's weaknesses, and he did say that the blood of Gaia is the weakness. They said that the blood of Gaia is his weakness. And 2 also had mentioned that they are wishing to become Tartarus, this entity of pure darkness, for reasons you don't quite know yet. Though you still got like a bunch more questions for Deja that you could ask that they could possibly know. But nevertheless, more and more twists and turns are far along the way. Last follow-up is Duran, training on his own, is able to dig deeper inside the power of this new chaotic magnetic blade. Interesting to see what you were able to develop with your mind. Not to mention, what the hell happened to your old blade, and is Duran really salty about it?
Duran isn't salty about it as much as he was concerned that that blade in the wrong hands could cause a lot of harm.
It's true. Well, anyone who could pick it up anyway. Seems like you were the only one.
Yeah, I mean, but he saw Kai using the future, so he knows that's bullshit.
Well, there's definitely a tie in between all that. I'm sure you guys will figure out soon enough, but that is all the time we have for today. Thank you again, everyone, for showing up. Thanks again, of course, to all of our listeners. We love you so much. It is exciting putting this together for all of you. From the first chapter to the last page, be kind to one another. We love you very much, and take care. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, good night.
Bye, Internet.
We love you.
Hey, Dungeon Delvers, Travis here. You hear me weekly as King on Descent into the Void, but I'm also a Tale of D20's Director of Operations. We wanted to let you know we're looking to grow our library of assets and improve our quality and need your help. Please visit patreon.com/a tale of D20s and know that every dollar spent goes to helping a Black-owned, LGBTQIA+ inclusive business thrive. Again, thanks for listening and being a part of our #ATODFam and experiencing our tales with us. From the first chapter to the last page, we love you, be kind to one another, and we'll all see you next time.